Okay, this is a video that I'm making to help you remember all the types of products that you can come across in algebra. Okay, I'm going to discuss form and then we're going to look at example and look at new forms and look at example. The first form I want to look at is if you take something and you distribute it into a bracket. Now remember, your distributive law says the A multiplies with the B and then you add it with the product and with C. Okay, so what do I have? I have A times B plus then A times C. Now that's quite easy if it looks as simple as this. If it is 3 times x minus 4, it's a simple 3x minus 12. Now let's build on this. Let's say 3p or 2p x squared minus 3. It is still a situation where you take something and you multiply to the two-termed expression. Okay, so 2p x squared minus times a positive is minus, 2 times 3 is 6, and the p tags along. Okay, let's add a few more here. X squared yz, and we're going to multiply it with 3x squared y minus 4xy squared. Nothing is changing. It is still something that looks like the top form. Okay, so it's the first term multiplied by the first term in the bracket. Now remember, there's a x, there's a x, there's a y, there's a y. We multiply them with one another. There's no other constant, there's a 1 in front. So 1 times 3 is 1. X times x, x squared times x squared is x to the 4. Y times y is y squared, and z times, there's a 1 at the end, you can see that will be z. Okay, then minus, there's a 1 in front, so I get minus 4, that x multiplies with this x to get x cubed. The y squared multiplies with a y to get y cubed, and then z just tags along. There's nothing that I can clean up here. In other words, there's no like terms in this expression at the end, so that's where it stays. Okay, folks, our next form. Our next form will be if I have something to this effect. A two-termed expression in a bracket multiplied by another two-termed or factor in the other bracket. Now we all know this form needs us to multiply A with C. So what am I going to do? Let me do it with the distributive law. I'm going to take the first term and multiply it with a bracket, and then I'm going to take the second term and multiply the second term with a bracket. So it will be A times C plus D. Like it was here, I take it to each of the numbers. Here, plus B times C plus D. Okay, that gives me what? AC plus A times D is AD plus BC plus B times D. Now there's nothing here that I can clean up. Okay, there's absolutely nothing for me to clean up there. So let's start and let's look at what happens if I multiply two binomials together. Let's say x minus 1 and x plus 2. Okay, you can take this as a form, or let's say this is a b first, and let's make this a a, and we talk about this thing as a form. First multiplies with the first gives me x squared. Okay, your middle term will be plus. Now remember, it is this product and that product together. So you can say it is minus a plus b x, and then a minus times a positive is a negative ab. Okay, so what do we have here? Here we have the sum of the position A and the position B, those two. Here we have the product of the two. Okay, so if this was a plus there, this will be a plus there, and this is a plus there. In fact, you can always make that a plus and then just multiply the A with a B and its sign. It depends on what you like to do. Okay, so let's look at this distribution for two polynomials, binomials, x minus 1, x plus 2 is x squared plus the sum of the two, x plus the product of the two, minus 1 plus 2 minus 1 multiplied by 2 goes in at the end. So we get x squared. Okay, this leaves me with minus 1 plus 2 is 1 times x is x. And over here I've got a plus times a minus is a minus, and I have a minus 2 going. Now you should go straight from there to there. Some of this type of thing you can do in your head, folks. Easily, quite easily. Let's look at an example, another one. X plus 3, x plus 7. Is x squared plus 3 plus 7 is 10x plus 3 times 7 is 21. Okay, so we have x squared plus 10x plus 21. Okay, we're going to streamline now. X minus 4 times x minus 2. X times x is x squared. The middle term will be minus 4 minus 2 gives minus 6x. Minus 4 multiplied by minus 2 is plus 8. Okay, so we get x squared minus 6x plus 8 immediately. Okay, so this can happen in your head, I'm saying again. The middle term. X plus 5 over x minus 3, or multiplied by x minus 3. X squared, positive 5 minus 3 is plus 2x. 3 negative times 5 is minus 15. Folks, you need to go as quick as you can. So try and get that form in your head. Let's pull fractions in. Let's say 2 over 3x minus 1. Multiplied excuse me, by 4x plus 1. Okay, let's see what happens here. For the first term, I need to multiply 2 over 3 times 4. Now, 2 over 3 times 4 is equivalent to that. 2 over 3, 4 over 1. In the product, I multiply the top with the top, which is 8, the bottom with the bottom, which is 3. So I get 8 over 3x squared. Now I have minus 4 plus 2/3 for my middle term. Now if I look at that, this is again 4 over 1. I now have two fractions that I'm adding, folks. The LCD for the 2 will be 3. So there's a 2, and here I have minus 12 over 3 is minus 4. So the middle term is minus 10 over 3x. Minus 1 times a positive 1 is still a minus 1. That's one way to do it. An alternative would be, if you're scared of making fraction mistakes, is to first add these two in this bracket before you distribute. Okay, let's see how that works. Here in the first bracket, the common denominator is 3. So I'll have 2x minus 1 is minus 3 over 3. And in the second bracket, I've got my 4x plus 1. Now remember, this can be seen as 4x plus 1 over 1. Okay, so what happens here? I multiply the top with the top, the bottom with the bottom. So everything is going to be over 3 on the other side. 3 times 1 is 3. So 4x times 4x is 8x squared. Then I get minus 12 plus 2 is minus 10x, and minus 3 times 1 is minus 3. Now you can leave it as that. There's no common factor with a 10, there's no common factor with an 8. That's the result. If you kept your fraction, you would just have 8 over 3 minus 10 over 3, and minus 3 over 3 is 1. So those two things are equivalent. Okay, they are equivalent. If you put x's in here, you're going to get the same y value coming out. Okay, the last form of this that I want to, not form, we can call it a form if we want to, is what happens if I have a binomial and I multiply it with a trinomial. Now remember, the distributive property says to you, it's this times the bracket plus that times the bracket. Our original, whatever is in front, times the bracket, what's in the bracket, and then this front thing again goes with the second term. Now that's the purpose of putting one in here for you. That's a little bit more complicated is, how do I now multiply? You've seen how I multiply two binomials. I've got a bi and a tri. So I start, x times x squared is x cubed. A plus times a minus is a minus. 3 times x is 3x squared. And then 2 times x gives me 2x. The x is done. Now 1 times this bracket is just going to be the bracket because there's a positive in front. So it's just x squared minus 3x plus 2. And now I can clean it up. There's a x cubed. There are two like terms over here. Minus 2x squared. There's 2x minus 3x, which gives you minus x, plus the 2 that's at the end. Okay, so these are quite simple. You just distribute. You have to distribute them one by one. Let's look at a nice combination question I can ask you. I can say, what is x plus 1 times x minus 3 minus x plus 2 times 3x plus 1. Okay? That's two binomials that I have to distribute, and the result I have to subtract from one another. It's as simple as that. Let's go and distribute. X times x is x squared. 1 minus 3 is minus 2x. 1 times minus 3 is minus 3. Minus, now be careful of that negative. Distribute these, but leave it in a bracket so you can distribute the negative later. X times 3x is 3x squared. I get 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 gives me 7x. 2 times 1 is 2. I'm going to carry on the side here. Okay, so I get x squared minus 2x minus 3. Move the negative in. Minus 3x squared minus 7x. Remember that negative changes every sign in the bracket. Now I can clean up. X squared minus 3x squared is minus 2x squared. Minus 2x minus 7x is minus 9x. Minus 3 minus 2 gives you a minus 5. Okay. Folks, I hope that reminded you how the distributive law is applied when you multiply. Please, if you learned something from this video, like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. I'll regularly be posting stuff on there too. Okay, our next video is going to look at special products.